Hi everyone! Today I will be showing you my coloring in Escape to Oz book by Good Wives and Warriors. It's a little bit strange spread. When I felt that I miss coloring in this book and that I want to do something in Escape to Oz or maybe Escape to Shakespeare's world, I took the book from the shelf, I flipped it through. I wanted to do spread with a lion sleeping between poppies, but in the end I finished coloring 3 pages in the book, but none of them was with lion and poppies. It's very comical. But anyway, when I flipped through this book, I realized that I never paid attention to this spread. It's not very interesting, but still it has some um, interesting ornaments. Usually I am not a person who loves to color ornaments, but from time to time when I want to relax and just to play with colors, I can color ornaments. And when I flipped through the book, I told myself that I can't connect this picture to parts of the story of Escape to Oz, which is known for me. For me, this picture looks like collage made from pieces of broken tableware, broken china, and then I checked the story of Frank Baum, and indeed this page was connected to the part of the story where main characters traveled through the country of China people. Let me explain what I use for coloring and then I will proceed and I will try to explain why I've never heard about this country of China people, even if the story about Emerald City was one of my favorite books in childhood. So I decided that I will be using 2 main colors, blue and muted violet for the background, and I decided to use a couple of blue colors from Derwent Inktense. I used iris blue for a very bright blue color and then lagoon and peacock blue. And together with them I wanted to use a violet or purple, but not very bright. I wanted something muted. I could use dusk purple or dark purple from Inktense, but instead I decided to use set of Derwent graphitins. You know the Derwent graphitins is a mix of pigment and graphite, so their colors indeed are muted. And mostly I used aubergine, and for several pieces I also used juniper. I decided to use graphite because I wanted to limit here my color palette, but everything is very detailed, so I needed various hues and shades of purple and blue to be able to color all the details. And from just one graphite pencil I was able to get colors from muted and dark purple to the relatively bright one. You know that when you color with graphite directly on the paper, you got mix of gray and pigment on the paper, so purple is indeed very muted. But when you take pigment with your wet brush directly from the pencil core, you are able to get a very clear, transparent and bright color. And that's what I used. For the backgrounds, uh, I colored backgrounds with pencil, and for the smaller ornaments I took pigment with my brush from the pencil core. It was interesting to calculate colors for all the details of this collage. I tried to put various colors close to one another. If one background I did with bright blue, then the next one was darker blue, the next one was muted purple, and in that way I managed to color the whole background. When I finished to do backgrounds of all parts, I colored smaller elements. I used Derwent graphitins again, but also Kohinoor Monteluzes in correspondent colors. I also used koi brush marker because of its very thin tip, and I used a lot of white marker. The whole spread in blue and purple colors looked interesting but a little bit boring, so I decided to add some warm colors. And for the leather, I used polychromasis, my favorite green gold, and a little bit of bister. And for the remaining backgrounds, I mixed a little bit of polychromasis and color softs. I thought that if I would frame all parts of the ornament with that muted golden color, it will create beautiful contrast to the purple and blue. Honestly, this spread is nothing special. I don't think that it has any art values. I did it simply to play with colors and to get back to Inktense and to Derwent graphitins. But still, I enjoyed process. It was quite a good relaxation time for me. And now let's get back to the story why I've never heard about this part of the uh, country of the China people. I must confess that I've never read book by Frank Baum, Wizard of Oz. When I was a child, one of the most popular books for children was a book named Magician of the Emerald City, and the author was Soviet writer Alexander Volkov. It was a series of children's books and I loved them a lot. I reread them many times. I had them in a very beautiful edition with many pictures, so they were my favorites. But only when I got older, I realized that there weren't original books. At that time, we didn't have access to foreign books, so I've never heard about Frank Baum. And Alexander Volkov used this limited access of Soviet people to the foreign books. Somehow he got a copy of Frank Baum's book and he rewrote the story using some elements from Wizard of Oz, changing some parts of the story, adding some parts from himself. So in the end, a book which I loved in my childhood, Magician of the Emerald City, was a mix of the Wizard of Oz by Frank Baum and some parts added by Alexander Volkov. Of course, it's a fraud, but during times of the USSR, no one thought about copyrights, especially copyrights towards the uh, writers from United States, so he used this story. And the only thing I have to say in the defense of Alexander Volkov that all the next books which he created about the same country, about this wonderful world, he wrote them himself. So 6 or 7 next books were original books and he never copied anything again. Volkov changed names of the main characters. For example, the main hero isn't Dorothy but Ellie, and in the next books the main characters were sisters of Ellie, and he also created some new parts of the magical land, so next books were his own. Sometimes in several editions Volkov credited Frank Baum as a source of the story, but sometimes this um, part of explanation wasn't included in the book, so for a long time this was considered as original novel by Alexander Volkov. Still, I am very grateful that I had this book in my childhood especially because they all were illustrated by famous Russian book illustrator Leonid Vladimirsky. Pictures were amazing. In The Magician of Emerald City book by Alexander Volkov, there were two good witches, two bad witches, and four countries of small people. But no country was connected to China people, so it never was mentioned. So maybe it's time for me to read the original book by Frank Baum. I'm not sure if I would like it as adult, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think that I will try to find it in English or maybe already in a Russian edition.